Does the life lived according to our own faith, our own understanding, and our own walking in His presence explain why each soul must bear a cross? As we seek to apply that learned in previous lessons dealing with attributes of the soul which should be magnified through our daily activities, we begin to realize our lack of application of those essential elements or attributes. We realize that we bear crosses because we have not yet learned to give complete expression to our soul faculties. We gradually realize how much of the inner self we have covered up, pushed aside for what we considered the more important desires of the conscious self. In so doing, we have pushed ourselves further and further away from God. How well we begin to comprehend that our crosses are created by ourselves. On the other hand, as we learn and apply these attributes of the soul, there comes joy and peace in the realization that the inner self is awakening, and that it is ever on the alert to express itself through the exercising of faith, virtue, and understanding. Our relationships with others are made more perfect, and the ideal is set in Him. We see our crosses in a new light. We begin to catch a glimpse of the glory of the crown. We come to the realization of having, in truth, a part of the divine plan. What can I do in reference to the Nazi situation in Germany and in America to again help the forlorn people? As has been indicated, by word, by manner of speech, by manner of living, that they turn again and raise that Ebenezer, that promise made so long ago in the experiences of many, and yet is today, now, being met in the experiences of many. For each and every day the individual only meets himself. Then it is not by might, not by hate, but by love of God. And the cry unto Him, and to turn to look to Him for aid, for succor. For the hills and the valleys, the cattle and the gold are His. And if ye will turn to Him, thy voice will be heard. For the entity hath developed in the experience. And the experience has arisen to that point in the affairs such that it may be said of the entity in the present, now. What will I do with that I have brought into my experience to the present? The honest dealing, the integrity, that sureness of a belief in a divine influence in the activities of self are noble. But love thine enemies also. Do good to those that would despitefully use thee. Not to thine own undoing. Not in that thou would revert to some of those experiences necessary as have been in thine activity for the acclaimings, the gainings for an opportunity. But rather let those things of the earth, those things of materiality, be as the fruit of, as the outcome of, well-doing in thy relationships, in honesty, in integrity, in patience, in long-suffering, in brotherly love. These be the manifestations of those activities that may bring the fruits that are ennobling, that will bring harmony and understanding. The entity in the experience hath seen these as afar, or glimpses here and there have come into the experience. But hold fast to that thou knowest. To do good. For he that endureth unto the end shall wear the crown of life, the crown of glory. And find rest, peace, harmony unto the soul, and shall hear the voice, Come, thou good and faithful servant. As thou hast been loyal over the few things, I will make thee ruler over many. This is not merely something for an idealist to hold, or one that is in the throes of despair in regard to self or others, but is a living practical thing in thine experience. When thou speakest kindly and gently to thine associates, to thine own house, to thine own neighbors, dost thou not find that thy heart and soul sings for joy, because of that thou hast made in the experience of those to whom thou hast spoken, even though there arise turmoils in the secular things of life? So is life. so is thine soul growing to the fruition of those good things that may come in thine experience by the application of such tenets, experiences and activities in thine own life. Be ye not weary in well-doing. He that endureth unto the end will wear the crown of joy, of life, of a contented soul. So may there be the reflection of light as it may be interpreted in the life of the entity itself in the present. Jesus, the Christ, is the light of the world. As ye reflect his tenets, his truths in thy relationships to thy fellow man, ye shine out as a star in the crown of thy master, thy Lord, thy brother. Should 257 agree to actual transfer of the property because bills are unpaid, and should he retain his present standing, as he has his name on papers? The release from obligations may be made final so far as the physical activities. But do not release self as to the spiritual or moral obligations for the spiritual and mental development. But rather not in sight, but through channels. The activities of the body may bring much to pass that would not be in opposition with, but rather in the comparison of an ideal and an idea. For to be all things unto all men, to thereby save the more. For God is God of all, not of a few. Neither is there other than, who is my mother, who is my brother? He that doeth the will of the Father, the same is my mother, my brother, my sister. Not all that are called hearken. Neither is there lost that cedar wrought in Jesse. For, as has been given, who will declare that there is still the horn in Israel? For Jehovah God calls, that those who will hearken may know that the promise has not weakened, neither has God forsaken him that keepeth his heart aright. For he that stumbleth in an exercising of that purpose may be forgiven, but he that would force, through power, the will of self upon another, has departed from the way that maketh for creative forces in God's power. For that maketh man as an ensample through the earth, is that he may make his will one with the Father. For, as was given, though he were the Son, yet learned he obedience through the things which he suffered. Not every one that saith, Lord, Lord, shall enter in. But rather he that preferreth another above self. He that humbleth himself shall be exalted. He that maketh himself of no estate shall not be cut off. For the promise is in Israel and in the lineage of David. And in the house of 257. Kohen. Ken, these are those that are perfect in their generation. Depart not from that of the service as is set before thee. Keep thine eye single, thine heart true, thine speech as of apples of gold in pictures of silver. Keep thine hands clean, thine mind clear, thine activities in accord with that thou knowest. And the way shall be shown unto thee. For God is God to those who will seek his face. He is not short of mercy, nor will he always bear with those who would trample upon the holy things, nor on those counsels of old. For there is a promise. And know that he is faithful to the one who showeth faith. For in the weakness of the flesh strength is given to the one who humbleth himself, that those who have not may receive in their understanding the knowledge of God, the Father. He that maketh, he that taketh, he is blessed.